Like a really side point here. I'm actually kind of glad that there's so many nerds in the world because some of the stuff that they do is actually important. So I'm going to make a caveat here. Like, I can't explain to you how much money you would have to pay me for me to go count fish. Hey, Andrew, do you want to be a marine biologist? Oh, that sounds cool. What do we do? Well, we go out on a boat and then we go out to the ocean. And then what we do is we count how many fish there are and we compare it to the last time we counted fish. And then we see if there's more fish or less fish. Okay. And how much do I get paid to count fish? Oh, no. You don't get paid very much. You have to go to university for 5 years and get in debt. And then if you're lucky, you get a job as a marine biologist. And then you get to pay off debt for the rest of your life and stay a brokey and count the fish. No, I don't want to do that. But I'm glad someone is out of their mind and finds that attractive and appealing. Because if no one counted the fish, I guess all the fish would die. And maybe I'm sentimental, but I like the idea of the ocean having some fish in it. I wouldn't want a fishless ocean. Where's all the fish? No one counted them. Now it's 0. So someone has to count the fish. I'm smart enough to understand someone has to count the fish. I just don't understand why you would want to do that. Why don't you just want to get rich as fuck instead? Andrew, what do you want to do? I want to get really rich and really strong and grow loads of muscle and buy loads of fast cars and a jet. What do you want to do? I want to be a marine biologist. I want to study the reproduction habits of sea urchins. I can Google right now, how do sea urchins get pussy? And there's an answer. Somebody knows. Somebody knows. The sea urchins waking up looking for girls. Someone studied this. Who studied this? I'm glad someone did, and I'm glad it's not me. So it's actually a fucking miracle that anyone does any of this shit for the meager compensation they receive monetarily. It's truly remarkable. So I'm glad. But if you're like me and when someone comes to you and goes, "You want to count fish?" You're like, "Fuck no. Count fucking fish." No, bruv. No. It's the same with all this shit. We need geologists. Hey, Andrew. What? Do you want to go look at the dirt? No. Yeah, but don't you understand the dirt was different? And 25 years ago, the dirt was different. And 1,000 years ago, the dirt was different. And if we dig a big hole, we can compare the dirt. What? How much do I get paid for this? Oh, no, you don't get paid. You go to university and you give them lots of money and you get in debt. And if you're lucky, you get an internship. And then you get to go on a hike. You get to walk for 4 days with a yellow hard hat on to the middle of nowhere and dig a hole and look at the dirt. Bruv. Billions. I'm like, bruv, how much money you got? Wait, this is going to take how much of my life? I want $10 billion. Top G, the G stands for geologist. Must be out your fucking mind, bruv. No interest at all. But that's what university's for. It's for people who are just a different mindset to me. And I'm not insulting them. I'm glad they exist. But it ain't me. And it was previously for people who needed to know shit. You know what the worst degrees are? We always make fun of liberal arts degrees and all these stupid, pointless degrees, which a bunch of people do. But they're not actually all that useless. Because let's say you do a liberal arts degree from the right university. If you go to the right company, some leftist insanity company, you'll get a job. Even though you have a bullshit degree. If you've gone to the right uni and you go to the right stupid company, you can still get a job. I've always been amazed by language degrees. Imagine you're American. No, even worse. Imagine you're Canadian. Lame. You wake up, you're Western, right? You wake up. You go to college, blah, blah, blah. You go to uni, you get accepted. Lucky you. I've never understood that either, the acceptance thing. They accepted me. What'd they accept you for? For my classes. They accepted to take your money? Is that what they accepted you for? I got accepted at McDonald's when I gave them $7 for a Happy Meal. They accepted my money too. What's the point? No, you don't understand. I tried really hard and I did all the tests and now they'll let me give them money. Bruv, are you dumb? Like, I don't understand how anyone falls for this shit. Must be out of your fucking mind. If I got accepted, pay me. Andrew, we've accepted you into Cambridge. Safe. How much do I get paid? Oh, you want me to pay you? Well, I don't accept. Dumb. So people get accepted. And then what are you studying? German. I'm majoring in German. Bro, why would you be a 24-year-old full-grown adult in America majoring in German when every 13-year-old in Germany speaks perfect English and perfect German that they learned from cartoons and TikTok? You think if an international company wants someone who speaks German and English, they can't go to Germany and just get someone. They all speak English. I've been to Germany. I've been through all the Nordics, through all of Europe. I've been to 92 countries. I don't think I've ever met anyone. I've lived in Romania 8 years. I don't speak Romanian. I speak perfect English to everyone, and they speak perfect English back. Why the fuck are you you're majoring in German? Someone make this make sense to me. I'm on a tangent here. This wasn't what the show was about, but it doesn't make any sense. I've got my degree in German. How do you say yay in German? Ja. Now what? Now what are you going to do? Great. Go to Germany and speak English? Dummy. Dumb, bruv. And a lot of people know this shit's stupid, but then they sit there and go, yeah, well, if I don't go uni, what else am I supposed to do? I don't know. Maybe make a bunch of money. Maybe become a kickboxing world champion. Maybe train hard and become strong. Maybe learn things that actually matter. I don't know. Maybe time is the most valuable thing any of us have. Maybe money isn't even as valuable as our time, and the money you're gonna spend on this bullshit and put yourself in debt isn't even as detrimental as the years you're gonna waste. Maybe. I don't know, maybe. Never crossed your mind that wasting 5 years of your prime years as a human, your most energetic years as an individual, you're gonna waste studying German. For what? To learn what? How do you say banana in German? Who knows? Who cares? I don't care. But to prove my point, I'm going to tell you. I haven't been to uni. Haven't majored in German. Google Translate. Boom, let me show you. In the olden days, you'd have to go to uni for this. Now we have the internet. Banana. Banana in Swedish is banan. It was already set to Swedish. Don't know why. We'll choose German. Banan. That's how you say. You went to uni for that? Instead of B-A-N-A-N-A, it's B-A-N-A-N-E. They've changed one letter. You went to uni and spent how much money? Hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn banan. Bruv. Joke ting. And you wonder why you're fucking broke. You must be stupid. You may as well go count fish. How do you say fish in German? If it's the same, I swear to God, fish is fish. What? I know German already. Fish. Instead of F-I-S-H, it's F-I-S-C-H. It's fish. This is the biggest scam. Everyone's been scammed since the beginning. I've worked it all out. It's a fucking lie and a scam. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Jesus. Is anything in this world real anymore? Everything on the news is a fucking lie. German's a lie. Canada's a lie. It's all a lie.
So I have, anyone who doesn't know me knows I used to run a webcam studio. So I had 75 women working for me, and they were talking to guys online and taking money from all the Democrats and betas, were sending them money, and the money went to me. This is how I first made big money. So I kind of understand intersexual dynamics from a very unique perspective, because you had me at the top, you had 75 women underneath, and you had thousands of men underneath them giving them the money, which kind of went to me. So it was kind of like a weird dynamic. So yeah, here's the truth about male-female relationships. Women fuck men they respect. Mm-hmm. That's it. They don't fuck men they like. They don't fuck men they love. They fuck men they respect. If she loves you and likes you and doesn't respect you, she will not have sex with you. I have women who respect me and fucking hate me, but they're here every time I call. So if they respect you, they're going to sleep with you. Yep. And this is something that's biological and evolutionary. They fuck men they respect. So how do you make women respect you? Well, first you have to be worthy of respect as an individual. There's no hack. If you're worthy of respect, you're worthy of respect. But secondly, you cannot allow blatant disrespect. So if you allow her to blatantly disrespect you and you tolerate that, then you're setting a precedent, which means, well, why would I respect this guy in the first place? I say this to guys all the time. I've had loads of guys who come to me for like coaching and stuff, and they say, you know, my woman doesn't respect me, da 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 da. And I say, look, it's much harder to fix something that's broken than just never let it go wrong in the first place.
Right.
From the second you got together, you should have been a man, and you haven't got to be an asshole. You haven't got to be aggressive. I'll sit with a girl and very politely say, look, if we're going to be in a relationship, if I'm going to take you seriously, you're not going to have male friends. If you want to hang around with a whole bunch of men, then I'm not going to take you seriously. What do you mean you won't take me seriously? I mean, we can fuck, but I'm never going to look at you as serious material. So the idea, the decision is on you. If you want to be serious, you're not going to talk to those guys. You want to talk to those guys, I'll fuck you sometimes. You decide. And I lay it on them. Now, if they choose to keep all their male friends, then that means she's chosen those friendships over me, which means sooner or later she was going to cheat anyway. Like, how long until she jumps on a new dick anyway? So why would I even be upset about it? But most men are too scared to just put the ultimatum down. And you haven't got to put the ultimatum down in some scary, big, brash way. Just be clear. Look, any woman I'm with who I take seriously doesn't hang around with other men. So it's your choice. And this is the point. But most men don't say anything. They let it slide and they let it get completely broken. And they come to me and say, well, how do I fix it? It's like, well, you have to make it not let it get broken in the first place. You need to understand your boundaries and expectations as a man. And you have to set them. And you have to make sure she complies and sticks to them. And if she doesn't, you're going to have to find somebody else. Yep. And this is another thing I talk about. Being a playboy. I have lots of guys come to me and say, oh, Tate, but I don't want to be a playboy like you. I say, look, if you want to be happily married, the best thing you can be first is a playboy.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do, because you're going to learn a whole bunch about women. You're going to have a whole bunch of choices to choose for a wife. If you're stuck with one option, the one chick you met, you know, then she might be a dickhead. Some women are just dickheads, you know? Yeah. You know, some women have been fucked too hard, too many times by too many big, scary guys, and they just don't want to listen to them. So, like, being a playboy is important. But yeah, absolutely. For setting your boundaries and stuff and making sure you're not respected, the key is this as a man. And this is the bottom line. Most men are not prepared to walk away.
Yep.
And if you're not prepared to walk away, you don't have any weapons.
Exactly.
If she knows no matter what, you won't leave, then what weapons do you have? Anything you say, shouting, screaming, yelling, going out away for a few days, whatever. She knows you're going to come back. You have no weapons. The second, imagine a girl came to you and she said, no matter what you do, no matter how many times you cheat, no matter what, I will never leave. Right. Think of all the shit you do. I know I do.
Yeah.
So this is the point. So as a man, if you're never prepared to walk away, you're never going to be respected. Respect and the woman thinking, you know what, he might just leave, are linked. They have to be there. So you have to mean what you say. You have to let her know, look, there's some things I won't tolerate. And if you fuck with me, I'm going to walk away. And if you walk away and she doesn't chase you, then she's gone. At least you saved yourself a fucking nasty divorce and getting cheated on and all that shit. Just end it then and there and save yourself a bunch of time. But men are too afraid to pull the plug on it because they get addicted to the pussy and they don't believe they can get any more pussy and they get all messed up. And this is one of the advantages of being a playboy. I can leave any chick because I got 10 more.
Yeah.
So if she doesn't act right, I'll just replace her for the night and I'll feel better by the next day. I go through a breakup a week. I'm used to it. I don't give a shit. And it's just like, this is part of the game. So you have to be prepared to walk away as a man. So you have to look at any relationship you're in and say, okay, I'm a nice guy. I love her. She loves me, but I have boundaries. And if she fucks with them, I'm going to have to walk away. And that's the truth. Otherwise, you're never going to be respected.
Yeah, I call it non-attachment, right? Like having this ability to be fully open, right? Because it's not just being a cold, heartless bastard or asshole. It's being fully open, but also at the same time being willing to walk away. Just saying, hey, you know, I'm not attached. Like, you know, I can express myself. You know, can even fall in love. That's fine, but I'm willing to walk away because my worth is so much greater, and I have options, and I'm never going to tie myself up into one single option that I have and put my worth or identity into that.
I've been head over heels in love with women and left them and never got them back, and they never knew. Yep. That's life. That's how it goes. I've been head over heels in love with women. I didn't want to lose them, and they weren't listening, so I walked away, and they didn't chase me, and I lost them. But that's it. My honor's intact, my pride's intact, and now I don't give a fuck anymore because time's a healer. That's life. So it's better than staying in a relationship which I'm not happy in because she starts acting like a fucking fool. And it's kind of like, I use chess analogies a lot, but it's kind of like chess. If you're playing a game of chess and you're in a losing position, and the only hope you have of winning is a big sacrifice, you give up your queen, and you don't know if it's going to work or not, but it's the only hope. You're better off making the sacrifice even if you lose, because if you don't, you're just going to slowly get ground down and definitely lose in the end.
Right.
Like, do you love that pussy so much you'd rather delay the breakup by 7 months and lose without any pride or honor?
Yeah.
And leave without any pride or honor while she cheats on you? Isn't it better just to say right hand in the air, you're not talking to that guy anymore? Like, the end is coming. If she chooses to talk to that dude over you, the end is certain. So can you have enough balls to just say bye and at least leave with your head held high? But This is another thing, man. It's crazy. These men have never been through any kind of emotional trauma. So the idea of breaking up with a woman is big to them. I've been through, when you've been through real shit, a breakup just doesn't become that real anymore. You know, I've had people try to kill me. I have stab wounds. Tell me again about this girl who doesn't text you back. Like, who gives a shit? There's people in Syria getting bombed.
Yeah.
You know, like, you have to get some perspective and just realize you're being, like, there's real trauma out here in the world. Terrible things happen day after day. And here you are, alive and breathing and perfectly healthy, and you're going to cry over some bitch? Just man up.
Ending.
So you have to find joy in your work.
You have to find purpose, at least. I don't know if I even find joy in my work because I'm stressed and annoyed. I'm furious all the time. What do you mean we've made $1.3 million today? It's a joke. Flip the computer. But it's you have to conquer the earth. Why? Let's talk about this. Why did Genghis Khan wake up and think, you know what? What can I do for fun? Well, I can play this instrument. That shit. Play the instrument for me. Diddle-lee-lee-lee. Boring. Okay, let me fuck this girl. Fucked her. Let me fuck her. Oh, kid number 84. Boring. What's there to do? You know what, guys? Let's all get our horses and let's just ride over there, and whatever we find, let's just take it. Why? Because it's the instinct to conquer. It's inside of a man. It's been dumbed down by the Matrix. They try and numb you. They numb you with entertainment. They try and put you in the festival crowd. They numb you with shit food. They numb you with depression, all this other garbage. But truthfully, if you're a man, you look in the mirror, what will make me happy? My empire will make me happy. That's why Alexander the Great did what he did, and Julius Caesar did what he did, and Genghis Khan did what he did. They didn't have Google Maps. They didn't know where they were going. They just said, no, we've decided we're going to go take shit from other people and show we're the best. And that's what we're doing now, the successful men at least, in a financial sense. Why am I making money? I have nothing to buy. There's nothing to buy. I have it all. I have 4 Kernan's eggs, a Rimac, a Bugatti, 53 other cars, 40 properties. There's nothing to buy. I'm just taking it from other people. I'm winning the game. I'm conquering. And that's what I think truly is going to give you purpose in life. It's just conquest. Men have always been this way. That's why war was even happening in the first place. The Mongols raided Vienna. How long does it take to ride from Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, on a horse to Vienna, Austria, across all of Siberia? And they were still mad enough and bored enough to go, nah, we need that city over there. That's the masculine essence, and it's been numbed down inside of people. Do you think they were ever considering fun at any point during this conquest? Because I don't think they were.
Well, do you think they were just trying to dominate others?
I don't think it's about trying to dominate. I think that inside of every single man, there's a God-given. I think that the entire world was built by this God-given drive to conquer. And to conquer doesn't always mean dominate others. You can conquer the sky by building a skyscraper. You can conquer by building roads. You can conquer by construction, not only by destruction. You conquer by turning up to a new territory and having a beautiful family and creating children. I think that's inside of every single man. I think it's been dumbed down by the Matrix, but I'm uninterested in fun. I don't understand the concept of fun. Fun is for women and children. All the women around me have fun. Last night, I went to a restaurant. My brother and I, 3 or 4 friends, maybe 25 of the most beautiful women you've ever seen in your life. We sit down at this table, all this fancy food comes, all these bottles of champagne come, everyone comes, the girls are laughing, drinking, everyone's having fun. Never at any point during the entire experience did I have any fun. I sat down on my phone, checked how much money I had, again, did some work, replied to important people, spoke to my fight coach about training and important things, spoke to the war room about important things in Conquest, spoke to my legal team. Everyone around me is having fun. I'm getting things done. Looks like I'm having fun. But never did I ever for a second feel fun. And I didn't want to. I didn't try and join in the fun. I didn't try and go, yeah. No. I pay for it all. You all have fun. I'm going to do this. And I say this. I say this all the time to the people I care about. Your life is fun and my life is stress, but you are mine. That's how it works. You're my woman, so you're allowed to have fun. And my life is going to stay stressed, but you are mine. I have my fun via proxy by making sure everybody I love have fun. I don't want any fun.
So you have fun in providing.
I provide fun, but I don't have any fun. I don't even have fun in providing fun. It's just my obligation. Everyone around me has fun. I'm working. And I cannot explain to people at home.
Does Tristan have the same mindset of this? Or does he like to have more fun?
He likes to have a little bit more fun than I do.
I can see that he looks a little bit happier.
But it's not happy. This is the point. I want to make this very clear to the people at home. I don't want anyone at home to think that I'm unhappy or depressed or miserable from this. This is just how I view the world. I don't want to have fun. I don't know how else to say it. I don't look at fun and go, I'm missing out. I look at fun and going, I'm glad they're enjoying their fun. It's like food. Do you want this cake? No. Well, everyone else wants it. I'm glad they want the cake. Cake tastes good. That's great. But I don't want the cake. I want something else. I will provide the cake. I'm a baker. I can give you cake, but I don't want any. I don't think in the concept of fun. I don't enjoy fun ever. All I want to do is monumentally achieve endlessly. That's all I'm interested in.
God has something he needs me to learn, so I'm going to go back to the dungeon. And that's just the mental model I'm going to adapt, because I think that's the best way for me to compete and be the best version of myself. So a human, I think, is a vessel designed to suffer, to become a best version of itself, so it can pass on lessons to the fullest of its capability to its offspring before its ultimate demise onto the final stage, or the next stage of this life, or whatever lives we live. So we'll see. And not just outside influences from social media. It can be the girl's friends. If I have a girlfriend, I say, you do not insult me to your friends ever, because you think it's just venting, but overall it's going to bite us. Because you're going to name, every time we argue, you're never going to name the times we don't argue. Eventually they're going to start saying I'm a piece of shit, and eventually you're going to listen to them. Just don't say bad things about me to anybody. What's the point? It's like, if you want therapy, talk to me. A lot of it comes down to basic communication and ego. Like I said earlier, it takes bravery to sit down and say, look, I think you're completely wrong. I think I'm completely right, but I'm not going to attack you. I'm not going to be egotistical about this. Let's discuss this. Let me try and understand your point of view, and let's fix it. And it's much easier just to be egotistical about things. It's ego that destroys relationships, and I don't believe in the long run that that's the right thing to do and the smart thing to do. And I also know that the grass is always greener where you water it. It's not greener anywhere else. The amount of, most women or men, they won't make any effort for their partner, but if they break up, then they'll fucking get in shape and put on the cologne and look their best to go try and get a new one. Should have done it for her. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? The grass is always greener where you water it, and I try and keep that in mind as well. And I don't really have a problem with relationships or anything, but I feel like I'm in a unique position because I have a really big battle on my hands, and any woman who's with me understands that the fight I have is so large that her job is cheerleader, and she does her very best, and we get along quite well. But I'm not the person people think I am. They think, oh, top G, da da da. If a woman has a problem and she comes to me respectfully, I'll absolutely listen to her and try and help her. Of course I would. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Because I think your body and your mind are linked. And my mind's constantly at war. I'm constantly stressed and people are trying to hurt me. And I think that if you are waking up every day and checking your phone to see which government agencies want you gone and which problems you have and which enemies of yours are gaining ground, and you have to find a way to combat against all of this, when you have the British Broadcasting Corporation trying to spread lies about you and you have to get more views than they do, than the BBC, your mind's at constant war. I think your body reacts to that. I think if you constantly feel like you're in a fight, then your body's going to react. Why would your body not give your mind what it believes you need? If you live a soft life or an easier life, it'll probably go down. But if you live a hard life, it'll probably shoot up. And I guess it's just a reflection of the lifestyle I live and the way my mind is operating and the pressure I'm under and the stress I'm under. And that's also the reason it's dropping overall as a whole. Is not just because lives are getting easier. It's also because of the mental models they're instilling inside of men and children. Like we're saying, we're not teaching them to fight back against their enemies, which would lead to an increase in testosterone. We're teaching them to just collapse and comply and be complicit with their enemies, which does the absolute opposite. Mm-hmm. It reduces it. So a lot of it, I believe, is mindset. I believe it's just mindset. My mind is at war, so my body is ready for war. I would say to them to use their minds and use their brains, and don't judge me based on my personality or whether you like me or not, or don't be emotional about this. Let's be very logical. If you're a person who is watching this and you have a brain and you're smart, but you believe I'm a human trafficker, this is the story you must believe. You must believe that me, Andrew Tate, a man with no criminal record who has never been convicted of any crime in any country ever, at the age of 35, when he already had a net worth in excess of $250 million, decided to form an organized criminal group and begin human trafficking. It's clearly not my personality profile because I don't have a criminal record, and it's clearly not a financial motivation because I'm already rich. He decided to human traffic his friends near him who had TikTok accounts, who are now defending me, saying, he didn't human traffic me, this is stupid, let him go. If you believe that story, that without financial motivation and without any other motivation, and the fact that I've never been a criminal before, I decided to somehow human traffic people close to me who are now defending me desperately, saying this is unfair and corrupt and he should be let go. And you know what's funny? Because I actually like the idea of children listening to their parents, even if it's not to follow me. Even though I know that's wrong, I don't want to teach children to rebel against their parents. Does that make sense?
Of course.
So it's quite a difficult one, but I think it's kind of funny. When you tell a young boy not to watch something, what does he do? I won't say much besides the fact that I will say one thing to my fans, and this is really true. Whenever you're defending me, I really want to make it clear when you're defending me to try and do it in a respectful way. Because sometimes haters come at me and talk a bunch of garbage. I don't want any of my fans to come along and say, well, you're an idiot, you're ugly, you're this. And, you know, I'll say it, I'm allowed, I'm a top G. Most of the girls who hate me are ugly. The hot ones always love me. But I would like the idea of being more respectful in the discourse. That's one thing I will say to any young boys who want to stick up for me. If you want to stick up for me, do it in a respectful way. My advice is that one day you're going to look back on all the things you're currently going through and you're going to be glad they happened. If you have the right mental model, if you change how you think, one day you will look back and be glad they happened. And the most fantastic thing about changing the way you think is, regardless of what people say to you or despite the fact they tell you it's not true, I promise you, one of the only things on the planet you can control is what you think. You can't control the weather, can't control other people, can't control if your heart stops. You can't even keep it beating. But you can control what you think. I'm not saying it's easy, but it can be done. And if you change the way you view things, you change the perspective, you'll be happy that it's happened to you. Sometimes you can have an event or it's like a prism. You can have something and it's all about the perspective you view it from. And I think if you are malleable enough in your mind and disciplined enough to instill the correct software at the correct time to make sure that you're as competitive as possible, you can take any situation or scenario that you're going through and find the positive in it and use it to make you a better person. Yeah, it's certainly been interesting. There's been a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and I've gone, like you said, from the absolute bottom to perhaps the top of the top, and I think you learn a lot of lessons on the way. And you need the juxtaposition to even enjoy anything at the top anyway, so I'm so glad for the bad times. There's nothing fun about being rich besides talking about when you were poor. The only point in buying a $10,000 steak is so you can sit with your brother and go, this is not worth 10 grand. I can't believe we spent 10 grand on this. We never had 10 grand in our savings account, ever. And then we can both laugh about how poor we were. Otherwise, why be rich? If you were born rich, I think being born rich would be one of the worst experiences. I think one of the worst lives.
Hope so.
Because you have nothing, you're never going to truly ever appreciate or respect money. Money's never going to make you happy. You're never going to have those stories to compare anything to. You're just going to expect for everything to be done for you. And if heaven forbid something goes wrong and then you end up poor, you won't be able to deal with it. Imagine being rich till you're like born rich and you're rich your whole life. I'm talking about you've been on private jets as a kid, your parents had money, and then at 42 it all goes wrong and now you're a brokey. How would you even handle that mental shift of I can't pay the council tax? Imagine it. Like I don't think you could be prepared to ever go broke. I don't think you'd appreciate anything. If you look at all these rich kids who go to these rich schools or these politicians' kids or whatever, they're all drug addicts, they're all weirdos. It's just, I don't think it's a healthy mind model to be born and just be spoiled. What do they say in the Matrix? They say the reason we have recreated the world at the end of 1999, the first Matrix was a utopia and the human mind rejected it. When we made everything perfect, you didn't want it. The human mind rejected it and you wouldn't listen. We had to give you all this struggle and all these problems for you to accept the programming. I think it's the same. If you were born rich, I think it'd be an awful existence. I don't think you'd ever, what are you struggling for? What are you working for? What are you striving for? For what? You know, and I think a man is different when he gets to that position where he has no safety net and he has to pull it off. You've been there, I've been there. I have to pay the rent. I have to pay the rent, let me borrow from dad. I have to pay the rent, let me borrow from dad. No, like I have to, tomorrow I need $2,000. Today I have fucking zero. There's nobody I can borrow from. And that's a small example. There's been much bigger examples. I don't want to send a podcast. You're a different kind of man when you've had to pull it off and you've suffered the consequences of failure, or you find a way to pull it off. It's not the same if you just call daddy, is it? I'll quote my father. That's what I'll do. My father said, I allow manipulation to find out where my enemy wants me to go, and then I use my mind to break the trap and punish the perpetrators. And I think that that is one of the biggest life lessons I would like to also teach to people around me. When someone is trying to teach you something or trying to tell you something, you need to first identify why they want you to believe it. Secondly, you need to identify how you're going to act once you believe it. Then you need to work out and decide, does this person have your best interests at heart? And if you go through those three things in order, you'll be surprised how many ideas you're told that you don't want to believe anymore. I idolized him, and I think a son should. But I also think it's the natural progression of life. The only alternative is I died before him, which I think would be worse. I think it's worse for a parent to lose a child than a child to lose a parent. This is the way it's supposed to go. It's the natural order. So all I can do is be glad that it went in the natural order. And it's a part of life that's unfortunate, but it's real. And they say you only become a man once you lose your father. So it's part of growing up, I guess. And that's why you had sons, especially in the olden days. Maybe not so much anymore, but in the days of old, the reason you had sons was Andrew, son of Emery. You were the continuation of your family name. That was the whole point of it. The reason I am here is to continue my father's name, and the reason you're here is to do the exact same thing. And we're doing that. We're here at this table. Millions of people are going to watch this. We're honoring our fathers. There's nothing more they could expect of us. We're doing exactly as a son should do, and I hope my son does the same thing.
Correct. So a bit of a jump. Yeah, born in America, raised in England, and then thought, I started making some money. And when you start to make money, I don't know about America, probably not so much as in America, but in England, as soon as anyone gets money, all they talk about is going on holiday. They're like, oh, I can't wait to get money. I'm going to go to Spain. When I get money, I'm going to go to Thailand. When I get money, I'm going to go to Dubai. And everyone works in England. And then as soon as they have money to have fun, they go abroad.
Right.
So once I was rich, I was like, well, I don't need to go on holiday. I can just leave. No one likes it here, so let's just go.
Right.
So, and then I kind of ended up in Romania on accident. You know, it's a long story, but I ended up here, and now I'm here, and I kind of like it. So that's how it worked out. Yeah, so I still want, when I moved from America to England, there was no chess infrastructure like there was in America. In America, there's chess in the schools and big programs and blah, blah, blah. When I went to England, I was still quite young. I was about 11, and there was no chess in the schools. There was no chess infrastructure. So chess kind of fizzled out for me. I didn't have the support network I had in America, and I didn't see a future career in it. So I wanted to do something else that was brutal. Chess is brutal. It's brutality. Like, if you play the game, you understand how ruthless chess can be. And if I tried any other sport, it just didn't have that brutality. Like, I put a ball in a net. Who cares? Who cares? Like, the ball's in the net. Ooh, yeah. It's different. Like, chess, you can really hurt somebody mentally, and fighting, you get to hurt somebody for real. And like you said, it's a one-on-one matchup. 100% responsibility is on you. You have to be a perfectionist. There's no room for error because it only takes that one shot. And it just appealed to me for all the same reasons. I just guess I liked fucking people up, and that's how it went. I decided to use my fist instead of a chess piece. No, my father was a grandmaster, but he was also a big, strong guy. So my father was quite unique within the chess world. He was quite physically dominating, and for a chess player, that's unusual. So even when I won, when I was in the under 15s in Indiana, I won the state chess championship at 5 years old, the youngest to ever win it. And when I won it, my dad said to me, look, you need to take a month off chess and, go training, go play football. You're not going to grow up to be a geek. I was never on path to be a geek. We always understood the importance of physicality, and I was always raised to be physically capable. So it's not like there are some chess nerds, but I wasn't a chess nerd. I was a chess badass. So I was always ready to kick ass. So it wasn't a big shift for me in that regard, really, because that's all life is. I mean, if you can think ahead far enough, life is just cause and effect, isn't it? You do things and there's an effect to them. Yeah. That's all life is. Life is cause and effect. My father used to live by cause and effect, but it's very, very true. If you know that I go to the gym, I get bigger. I go on a diet, I lose fat. I work hard, I make money. It's cause and effect. People struggle with it. I don't know why. But that's all chess is as well. If you live your life by cause and effect, you're going to very easily make good choices, and good choices lead to good situations, and it spiral boards. Before you know it, you have a good life. So, yeah, chess is absolutely fundamental to the way I view the world, because it's how I grew up. But I think it can be even more simple than that. It's just a matter of understanding every single thing you do is a consequence, and you have to decide if that consequence is worth what you're doing. Is the hangover worth the booze? Sometimes. Sometimes it isn't. Is that? Yeah, absolutely. And that's also how life works, isn't it? You always appreciate what you don't have, and you always appreciate things that are taken away from you. So this is the whole point of fasting. Fasting's a huge thing now. Everyone talks about fasting all the time. But basically, it's just denying yourself something so you can enjoy it more when you have it. And this is a basis of life. This is human nature. If you could have everything you wanted all the time, you'd enjoy none of it. This is the truth.
100%.
Yeah, so you have to not have certain things. So yeah, like one of the reasons I do love to drink sometimes is because very much like you are now. When I was fighting, I went through long periods of not drinking. So I wouldn't drink for 6 months, not a drop.
Yeah.
And then for three weeks, I'd be drunk every day. And then for 6 months, I wouldn't drink again. That's why it was fun, because of the polarity. But if you can drink anytime you want, yeah, it gets boring, like everything in life. Yeah, man, it was a long time. And I kind of miss it. I miss the days of war, to be honest. Part of me misses it. But I was broke as a joke, man. And I just Googled no rules fighting. That's what I typed in when I was 16 years old, when I first moved to England. And I found a gym run by a Bosnian guy. There was 4 Bosnian men, full-grown men. I turned up. He said, "Can you box?" I said, "Yeah." And I got knocked out my first session. And I just kept going back. And then from there, my coach never asked me if I wanted to fight. He's like, "If you train at this gym, you have to fight." And only 2 months later, he gave me a date for my first fight. I just turned up. I got in the cage. I won. Against I was only like 19. I was fighting some doorman who was like 10 kilo heavier than me, like a doorman, like a 28-year-old doorman. I won, fuck knows how. But I was more fearless then than I was towards the late in my career in many ways, because I didn't really know any better or really care. So I just kept training, man. I had a very good career. I lost a couple fights, which really upset me. But besides that, I basically beat everyone's ass. And that's how life goes. You can't have it all your way all the time.
Right.
But when I decided to retire, I guess the problem with fighting is that if you want to be a competitor and you want to be the best, you have to give up absolutely everything else. It has to be all you care about. Mm-hmm. And one day I woke up and thought, you know what? I've achieved a lot with fighting. I've proved I can fight. I have 4 world titles, 80 fights. I'm all over YouTube for fighting. Like, do I need to fight and have 5 world titles? Do I need 100 fights? Like, is it going to change my life in any significant way? And at the time, at the peak of my kickboxing career, what people don't understand is that kickboxing is not boxing. So even at the peak of my kickboxing career, I wasn't wealthy at all. Like, even though I was getting 50 grand for a fight, by the time I paid my manager 20% and you're fighting twice a year, you got to pay your rent, you pay your car. Like, you're not a rich person at all.
No.
And I decided, you know what? I'm going to take all this energy I put into fighting, because it's all my life force I was putting into fighting. If I was either training, asleep, or fucking. That was it. It's all I did.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take all that life force and put it into trying to make money instead. And I did exactly that. And then within 3 years, I was a multimillionaire. So I kind of gave up fighting to get rich, if that makes sense. And it worked out. So